Hello. So today I thought I would do something a little bit different. I thought I'd make a video where I just talk about the Dream SMP and some theories I have about what the story will do next. Specifically about the new member for the Syndicate. I have an idea for who I think it might be that I haven't heard talked about nearly as much as it should be, so I'm going to talk about that today. So before I start, just a brief explanation of what the Dream SMP is, if you don't know. The Dream SMP is a Minecraft server started by Dream, who's a YouTuber. It's a roleplay server, so basically Dream and his friends play characters on the server, and they act out a story. It's fun, so I just want to say before we get started, if you haven't seen Technoblade's most recent stream, or many of the other recent plot streams on the Dream SMP, then you probably won't understand this video, and it might spoil some things for you, so maybe go watch those first before you watch this, so that it will make sense, and so that it won't be spoiled if you plan on watching those later. Anyway, let's get started. So recently, Technoblade has started a secret organization called the Syndicate, where he and other anarchists and friends of his basically, well, they haven't really done anything, but they just spread the word about anarchy and get other people on board. So, and they've recently had their first meeting. There were many interesting things that happened in the meeting, but the main interesting thing that I want to talk about is that there is a new member that will be joining the Syndicate that we don't know who they are right now. The current members are Technoblade and Philza, who was also a founding member, and our new members are Ranboo and Niki, who are friends who have recently joined. During the meeting, everyone was given code names that were all references to Greek mythology. Previously, Technoblade has made a lot of references to Greek mythology in the plot that he's involved in. There's a lot of parallels between Theseus and Tommy Ennett. I could make a separate video about that, you know, if people are interested. But so and I think that some information about that will be helpful here. Technoblade's code name is Protocilius, which is was a Greek warrior. An oracle foretold his death at Troy, but he was the first warrior to step ashore, and he was the first to die. That's interesting. Because that doesn't seem to have a lot to do with Technoblade's character, actually. Technoblade hasn't died yet, and there's really been no foreshadowing that he will, so that might be interesting. He might die soon in the future, I don't know. Maybe he'll lose one of his canon lives. Next is Philza. His codename is Zephyrus, a god of the west wind, one of the wind gods, often depicted with wings, which makes sense because Philza is also often depicted with wings. That one really is just very self-explanatory. And the new members now have code names. Ranboo is Lethe, which is the Greek spirit of forgetfulness, which makes sense because the character has problems with memory loss. And Niki's code name is Nemesis, goddess of revenge, which makes sense because she had the revenge arc where she wanted to get revenge against Tommy Ennett. Now, the new member, we don't know who they are going to be, but we do know their codename is Hypocrates. So Hypocrates was the god of silence and secrets, also associated with roses, and he was a Greek interpretation of an Egyptian god. We don't know who that person could be, but there are a few possibilities that people have talked about. The main possibility that has been talked about is FoolishG. He hasn't been involved in the lore of the SMP so far. Now his character is becoming more important. His ideas seem to line up with the Syndicate's, so it would make sense. His base has an Egyptian theme, which would make sense with Hypocrates being originally an Egyptian god, and he does seem to have a lot of secrets. Another person that people have theorized it could be is Captain Puffy, because she's a friend of Technoblade, and against the egg like he is, and her ideas line up with the Syndicate's as well. However, we've known for a while that she might join the Syndicate, and most people consider it only a matter of time until she does, so I don't think that it will be her, because this whole deal with having the new member's codename be known but not their actual identity is all mysterious, and I think that who it will be is going to be something surprising. It's going to be something that's not what we expect, because the way that they're leaving it open for so long. So I don't think it will be Captain Puffy. Another person I've heard suggested is Karl, which doesn't make a lot of sense because he doesn't seem to know Technoblade really, and I don't know that he would be interested in anarchy or the other things that the Syndicate is interested in. The reason that I've heard this is because of Hypocrates' association with roses, and the in-between, which we've seen in Karl's Tales of the SMP videos. There are a lot of roses decorations. Other than that, I don't really know of any reason it would be Karl. I don't think it will be him either. So there's someone that I do think it could be that not many people have talked about, and that is HannahxxRose. Now, she is a new member on the server, and also has just recently become important in the plot. One of the main reasons I think it could be her is because of Rose is in her name. She's decorated her house with roses. Her skin has roses on it. You know, she could definitely associated with roses, which would really make sense. The recent events on her first plot stream indicate that she'll probably be anti-egg in the future, and that would line up with the Syndicate's interests. And she seems like a, peaceful, friendly type of character, not someone who'd be interested in anarchy and destroying the government. But I think that it might be interesting if she joined the Syndicate because, well, I mean, Ranboo and Niki seemed like friendly, peaceful characters at first too, but as Technoblade said, anarchy doesn't have to be about violence, and since currently the government doesn't really exist anymore, and anarchy is basically what's happening, I think being peaceful and just wanting to keep things the way they are actually really lines up with what the Syndicate wants right now. For the time being, there's nothing to blow up. It wouldn't be too out of character, I don't think. Besides, it would be surprising, which is, I think, what we're looking for because of the mysterious nature of this thing. So I actually think that it might be HannahxRose joining the Syndicate. The other thing is that in her recent plot stream, which if you haven't seen, maybe you should watch that first, but in the recent plot stream, she is trapped next to the egg by Bad Boy Halo and probably will be infected. That would be interesting because if she is infected, then she probably won't want to join the Syndicate because the Syndicate is against the egg, and if she was infected by the egg and was working for the egg, the interests would really not line up. But I think that she could maybe be infected but not know it at first, or the egg doesn't exercise its influence over her immediately, so that she joins the Syndicate. That might be interesting, and a lot of that is just theorizing or just probably not what's going to happen, but I think it would be really cool if Hannah was the one who is the new Syndicate member, because, I don't know, I think that would be an interesting development for her character. Well, there are some problems with this theory. For example, it's most likely that Hannah will be infected by the egg immediately and will not really have an opportunity to join the Syndicate or be anti-egg because she'll be infected and under the egg's control, but you never know, that might not happen. Also, I mean, there's a lot of information about Hypocrates that is really not relevant to Hannah, for example, the silence and secrets thing, but then again, if she was like a sleeper agent, essentially, for the egg, then she would have a secret going on, for sure. The Egyptian thing really isn't relevant either, but it doesn't have to be. I mean, not every aspect of the myth is going to line up with the character. For example, Technoblade doesn't make any sense as far as I can tell. It just doesn't seem to be all that relevant. Another major issue being that Technoblade pretty much referred to Hypocrates as he, meaning that it's most likely going to be a male character. But it sounded to me like the first time he mentioned Hypocrates, he said she, but then he switched to he later on. And I think the reason for that, maybe I misheard him, but I think the reason for that is that most of the members on the SMP are male, so if he said she, then it would be pretty obvious who it was. I mean, the only major female characters at this point are Niki, who is already in the Syndicate, so obviously it's not her, Captain Puffy, who it could be, and Hannah. I mean, he probably would have just not specified if he didn't want to give that away, but you never know. And maybe he didn't expect to be answering so many questions about it. I personally think that it's going to be Hannah, or that it would really be cool if it was. But I also think that it could be any of the other people mentioned, particularly Foolish. I think that it would be really neat if it was him. You know, his character seems to be interesting. And, you know, whatever they end up doing, I'm sure it will be really cool and not what we expect. Can't wait to see what Technoblade ends up doing with the plot. Well, you know, my theories are probably just wrong, and I'm probably wrong, but you know, it's just fun to talk about what might happen next. What did you guys think? Guess just comment and let me know who you think the new Syndicate member is going to be, or what you think will happen to Hannah after what's going on with the egg. What do you think about this kind of video where I just kind of play around and talk? I could make more videos like this where we talk about the Dream SMP in the future. If people are interested in that, that would be fun. I'm still kind of working out what kind of content I want to make. So just, you know, leave a comment to let me know if this is what you like. Thanks for watching. Bye.